The first step in a successful project is making sure that you have the proper setup. So you want to lay out your fabric, smooth out any wrinkles or bumps, so that way it doesn't skew the actual size of the pattern that you would like. Pay attention to any symbols that are on your template, so that way you can follow the right directions. This particular template has a place on the fold symbol. So what that means is the very bottom of my fabric here, this edge is where the fabric is folded. The other edge has just raw edges or cut edges. So I'm gonna place this edge on the fold. So I'm gonna bring this all the way down to the edge of my fabric and make sure that that is right on the fold. You don't wanna lift it up here and have like a small gap of fabric there. There's no point to do that. So this says place on the fold, so it needs to be on the edge of the fabric or on the fold. I'm also gonna watch this side of my fabric, and I wanna line up if this chalk mark that you can see was the edge of my fabric, that's where I'd want to place my template. So I'm going to look at the edge, I'm going to place it on the fold. I'm going to put one hand down on the template, and then you're going to take a contrasting colored chalk or marking tool, and you're going to trace around the template. You wouldn't want to use, I have black fabric here that I'm working with, you wouldn't want to use black or another dark color. So in this case I've got blue, or this student had used yellow, so I would just trace along the template. You don't have to press very hard on the chalk to make your lines. So you want to have one line here, and one line here. So 3 lines. When you lift up your template, you should have your chalk markings. So in this sense, you actually see the yellow. Next step would be then to place pins in your fabric, and that's just so the bottom and the top layer don't shift while you are going to cut out your pattern. Actually, these pins that are placed here are a little close together. So you can see there's a pin here and a pin here with maybe about a fingerprint in between each pin. That's actually too close. So you can actually have your pins for this step about this far apart from each other. Okay, so about 4 pins on each side. How you pin is you're going to take your pin, you're going to place it down into the fabric. I'm going to kind of hit the table about halfway through the fabric, and then I can, if I put my finger down on the fabric, I can feel where the pin is. So I'm going to take my hand and move it to the left of where the pin is going to come up through the fabric, and then push through, and there's the end of my pin. So that's how you're gonna pin down through the fabric. You always wanna have the bead and the sharp point on the top side of your fabric. Once you have that pinned, then you can go ahead and cut out your fabric. So just remember to hold your shears the proper way, open the blades all the way, and close the blades all the way to get a nice smooth cut as you go across your fabric. Keep the bottom blade always on the table as you're cutting, and that will just help the fluidity of your cutting. The person who is going to cut out their template next to yours, that person will then just, or if you're that person, you're going to take your template and line it up right on the line that was previously cut. Whether that's a chalk mark or whether that's someone had already cut this off, then you're going to use your template and go right on the edge of the fabric. Please do not keep any space between one pattern and the next. There should just be one chalk mark. So then this next person, and they're just gonna cut on, one person will cut on the yellow, and then the other person will cut their pattern out, and this person will cut out their pattern. So no spaces in between, so that way we can maximize the use of our fabric.